Good evening and a pleasant welcome to this program, CEO's Chat, right here on KMTV, always right on your screen. And we're happy that we're back broadcasting to you from Painesville outside Monrovia. Of course, the program is every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m., where we bring entrepreneurs, corporate executives to talk about trending issues in business and various entrepreneurial programs that will pique your interest. Today, I have a very interesting topic. We'll be looking at ideation and business development, of course, from a Liberian business perspective, as we seek to engender a feeling of entrepreneurial excellence in Liberians. My name is Wilcom Ducan, CEO of Champion Designs, and I have two wonderful and fascinating ladies to join the conversation today on CEO's Chat. I will take them one at a time, and we'll look at ideation and business development. So stick and stay as we join our very first guest, who's going to be talking about her experience when it comes to ideation and business development here in Liberia, and many of the challenging moments in her life, in her journey, that you listeners and viewers can also glean from. So it is my singular privilege to welcome my very first studio guest, a fascinating and phenomenal lady, Patience Beer. She's the CEO of Patience Beer Service Station. They're involved with a lot of activities. She's going to be shedding light on many of the activities they're involved with. But let me get her up. Good evening, Patience.
How are you?
I'm doing very, very sprightly.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining the conversation.
Thank you.
How is everything regarding COVID,
Yeah, we're coping.
business, and everything?
Yeah, we're coping. Business has been a little bit up and down, but at least in the midst of everything, we're growing small.
And I see you with your safety cap.
Yes, because I just from doing measurement before coming here, so I decided to be in that same mood and just come for this conversation.
Exactly. Thank you. I see you're a highly spirited person. I like your energy, your approach to entrepreneurship, practical approaches. Let's get started with your company, Patience BS Services. Tell us about what you do.
Okay, P.B.S Service Station is a company made in Liberia products, and we focus on carpentry, interior designing, painting. So that's why we name our company service, because we provide those kinds of services. So personally, we've been into the carpentry, the painting, and the interior designing.
Okay. It's somehow very difficult to see a lot of ladies venturing in the niche market that you're in. So what inspired you to get involved with these kind of services?
Okay, first and foremost, I had a friend in the States who wanted to do something in her house. And then she kept on getting the wrong things. And her whole mind was to have a Liberian do her interior design, her curtains, her living room chair, and her dining room chair. Because her experience were the material she bought from those different businesses,
Vendors.
yeah, it didn't last long. And then it started to fade away. And she noticed that they were not using wood. Most of the products were wood dust. So she really wanted to have wooden materials in her home. So she contacted me and said few people have failed her, and since I'm her friend, she wanted me to take up that and get her house set up. So at that time, I wasn't doing nothing, so I said, okay, no problem. So she sent me the first money, and I was there. I made sure all of those things came, because she knew me to be one person. I like to play with colors in my home. That's something I like. When it comes to cleaning up, when we were small, I would always go for cleaning up than even washing dishes or cooking. I was always the cleaning up person, taking one thing from another place to put it to another place. So I got her house set up, did her painting and everything. When I sent her the photo, and then we started to brainstorm, she said, but Patience, I got a lot of friends who want to do this. So I will link them over to you so you can be doing their work. And then she said, but I'm going to send you something for yourself with all of the work you did. And she sent me $500.
That was your first
Yeah. So
seed money.
yeah, so when she gave me that money, I went to bed. I'm like, what am I waiting for? I think I've just made a profit out of something. So I think I need to start doing it. And before I posted the work I did for her on my page, and that was how the PBS service station started.
And I can remember as far back then, you were in academia, just schooling. So prior to doing a service business, what other ideas came up? I mean, before finally landing on your...
Okay, so I run the Single Empowerment Network Foundation, which is a non-for-profit organization, and our focus has been on training young women and girls, especially teenage mothers. And when this whole idea came into being, I felt that asking people for help all of the time, has not been working. So let me do something, in like a social, venture, at the same time getting money from there to be able to help these women. So every year, whatever we grab, we save something at the end of the year, the last 4 or 6 months, and then we have a training on an event to be able to help single mothers and underprivileged young women and girls.
So that particular experience actually shows that it's possible that someone is involved in non-for-profit and also for-profit.
Yeah.
And that's a brilliant idea. Now, let's come to, I know there were some things that ran through your mind, which business people call market research, because before venturing into a market or a business for that matter, you must have done your initial assessment around what were your initial findings when you decided to venture into decoration, carpentry. Are these services really needed by Liberians? What were your market research research results?
So my first client was my aunt.
Okay.
She first of all, she did not trust that I was going to deliver, and so I needed to go around to look at the kind of work that had been done. So I went to a few carpenter shops. I saw what was being done there. And I also saw some mistakes from the kind of work that were being done in the carpenter shop. Most of the carpenter shop, the finishing is a serious problem. And then I decided that I was going to work on that. And then we did the first work. It came out perfectly from her. So basically, I went to carpenter shop. I talked to people who have been in the business for a longer time and asked them if, this business is profiting. But unfortunately, there were a lot of people that told me that it's headache, you are a female, find something to do, like they focus just on doing the interior design, you can be a carpenter or X, Y, and Z. And there were a lot of people who told me that, it was not going to be possible. I should just forget it. Because the first thing is I'm going to be dealing with men. You understand me?
It's a male-dominated
and so
sector.
Me being a female will not really put me in that particular position to do what I need to do. So I should only focus on the interior design. But I said, no, I will go for it. And so I went for it. I got a few people that I trusted at the time, and we did our first work, and it came out perfect.
That's great. So let's come to ideation now. Ideation in business terms, the process of gathering ideas, sampling them, seeing how you can make something good out of it. So in your experience, how have you been able to use the process of ideation, gathering ideas, maybe from employees or feedback from customers? How have you been able to use that process in improving the quality of services that you render?
Okay, first and foremost, when we started, from where we came from to where we are right now, I feel that there's a huge difference in the quality of our work. And that happened because we let our customers to give us feedback. So like every work I do, I will call you, like how was the work? Did you really, enjoy what we made? The money you pay for that work, is it worth it? And as hard as it is, because if
receiving feedback,
receiving genuine feedback is not a small thing. Sometimes it tears you apart, like you're not making progress and you just want to stop. And there will be people who will tell you straight up that this thing is not even worth what I paid for. I did not expect this of you.
So how do you take these negative comments?
For me, it's
painful. Do you
painful.
refund the client's money?
No.
Maybe you're supposed to do something?
No.
So what do you do?
Most time when I started, I appeal to them that this is a new business, and I appeal that, you let this happen. I can give you maybe a curtain or so just to calm your mind down. But I assure you that maybe at the end of the year, I can give you something that, worth the same money you pay. If I decide to refund all the money back at the time I was starting, I don't think I will even continue the business.
So your strategy, because where I'm pointing is, how does a startup entrepreneur face this problem of negative feedbacks?
The first thing is you accept that it has happened, especially if you know that everybody has a taste. So if you want to grow your businesses and you find out like you're having about 10 customers giving you the same feedback, it means that your work is not reaching that taste of what you're trying to portray.
Sure.
Because people look at your vision and buy into it, the way you discuss about your business. So they feel that you coming in this field, there should be something different from you that will make them want to come to you. They will leave all of the carpenter shop and say, I want to go to P.B.S service station because there is something distinct about her work.
Both people call it USP, unique selling proposition.
Thank you. So they were not getting it from the beginning. It wasn't there. We were struggling, and funny enough, you know, when you start up, you feel that you've arrived. You understand me? Maybe you did your first product, and somebody said, "Wow, this is nice," and you're like, "Okay, you get comfortable." But I let my librarian people, they will give it to you right back. Like they will tell you that this is not it. In as much as the feedback can be demeaning at times, sometimes they will go as far as even insulting you and what have you. But you have to have a thick skin sometimes. All of these things happen.
Cite a specific instance on how you countered a negative feedback with something positive that improve your service.
Okay, so this person said they were going to put my work on Facebook, and we all know that I do social media promotion for my page. So most of my work is done on the internet. I get customers from the internet and everything. So the person threatened me that I'm going to do this. That is what I pay for. They send me the picture, and that is what I got. You imagine looking at what the person paid for, and yourself looking at what the person getting, and the person like threatening you, and you know that it has a negative connotation on your business if it is being posted. So I say, sis, how are you? I say, are you a librarian? She said, I'm a librarian. I say, we need to talk. And she said, I want to talk to you, like that, in that kind of angry mood. So I said, I just need to talk to you. Where are you? I don't want us to talk on the phone. I want to meet you. And I went to her, I sat her down and said, you know what? We will go. I just want to say I'm so sorry. I never thought that this work would have been this way to you. But what we're going to do, she has something else to do, her curtain. So I said, I'm going to take up the curtain. I'm going to do the curtain, but you have to let the work stay. Whatever way you want us to redesign it, we're going to come up and redesign it. And right away, Australia came on how we can do the design in the wool, like painting the wool, but you put in colors so that that particular finishing will not show. And then, bam, I called my team, I said, we got to get this work done. And we did that little star on it. She said, much better, much preferable. And then when I did the curtain, she told the curtain, now she said, wow. But you're going somewhere, you just got to be keen with your finishing. The tone of voice.
It has changed completely.
Thank you. So that alone made me to know that I need to do something. And so I started to do research. And my team, they said teamwork make the dream work.
Exactly.
So from that experience, it took me from being an ordinary carpenter girl to someone who has made improvement. And it was only on the finishing of the work. Everybody can build this. How you finish this particular table is what matters. So I went on YouTube, had my team sitting down. So then we have projects. I open the phone on YouTube, we're watching from start to start. You know, the finishing, the kind of products they're using. How can we get those products, even if it will cost more? My thing was my customer want quality. So I'm going to do everything possible to give them quality. And I know when the quality starts to show, the money will come in.
That's right. When the quality starts to show, the money starts coming. You're watching CEO's Chat here on KMTV every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. This is the Entrepreneurial Excellence Show, and we talk everything business and entrepreneurship. I have two phenomenal ladies tonight talking about business development and ideation. The first is Patience Bie. Right after her, look forward to Mariam Meiplay, who gets to come and talk about her own experience as she is currently running her business. So let's come back to Patience and continue the questions. Let's talk. We've talked about the issue about customers and feedback and all that. Let's come here to Liberia. How have you been able, in terms of I mean, with the process of small business development. Now you come into practicalize it now. Someone who's watching and they want to start a small business, they want to start something small, they're just getting started. What advice would you give from your practical experience when it comes to sales? How have you been able to push sales to get a lot of people buying into your service?
So first and foremost, I would say social media influence is something that we should not take for granted. I started my business with no capital. Absolutely no capital. The first work I did, and my friend saw it, she liked it. The second was based on my internet presence because I posted that work and people saw it and they came for it. So the person brought their money to me to do their work. I was not the one, putting in the money to do the work. So my social media platform has really worked out. On all of the various platforms, I make sure to post. 2, customers bring in more customers as well.
Referrals.
Thank you. Referrals has been a major part of what I do. You enter somebody's house and you see a nice cushion and say, P.B.S service station did that. And it's like, wow, how much? Oh, there's because, mind you, that buildings want quality with an affordable price.
Yeah.
So in as much as they want a quality, you have to take into consideration the prices around you.
Your competitors.
Your competitors. And how can you still bring quality but then, have a little lesser price that will make them to run over to you.
Sure.
So that also has brought a lot of people to P.B.S service station. Just imagine somebody trusting you with their money for you to do their work without them seeing the actual thing. Like most people say, where's your showroom? I say, I reached the showroom yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's step by step.
Yeah, it's a gradual process. We're working on getting our showroom, but for now, I have not reached there yet. But trust me, let me have your money and give me 2 or 3
because
weeks.
business is trust.
Yeah.
It's built on trust and
yeah,
relationship.
and honestly, that has been the reason I have gotten more sales over the period of time. These 3 things. 1, I said social media influence. 2, I talk about referrals. 3, I talk about pricing.
Pricing.
Yeah.
In conversation, this is a conversation we have most often with business owners. If I ask you who set your prices, what would you say?
Basically, my price is set based on the material costs.
Material costs.
Yeah.
Okay. How about competition? Your competitors?
Yeah. So market costs and competitors are the 2 major people that set your prices.
That's right.
But you cannot rely only on your competitors to set prices. Because if you do not take into consideration the actual amount it takes to do this thing, and you only focus on your competitors, you will leave out of business. So in as much as you want your prices to come a little bit down, you should also take into consideration that my material cost is this amount, right? So your pricing now should be on your profit. So as long as I know my material cost is this amount, I don't want my profit being that large to reach to my competitor.
So in pricing, still on pricing, because one thing about starting the business is if you have a product or you offer a service, one sticky area is how can I maximize profit at this particular cost? So I'm asking now, when you are pricing your services, say for the interior decor of this area, I'll charge you maybe $100. What runs through your mind when you're charging that particular cost? What runs through your mind?
So as I said earlier, right?
Material cost.
Material cost is number 1 on my list.
Okay.
So the material cost will entails a whole lot about that area. What are those things I need to get to be able to put those work together and make it to be the way it ought to be?
Okay.
If you leave me and go to a competitors, what is it that they are rightly that I'm not doing that I'm charging way too much
Value.
So with all of these things being into place, right? I can now sit and say, okay, I'm going to add value. I'm still adding my material costs.
Sure.
And my pricing is going to be at a level where I can get profit and the customer feels comfortable. Because when you're doing your business, you first of all have to know who are your customers. So My customers mainly are ordinary Liberians.
Okay. The masses?
Yes. So because my customers are the ordinary Liberians, I have to take into consideration how much an ordinary Liberian
Can afford. So you are not middle income or the high earning income person.
Ordinary and middle. That's where they.
Okay.
High income, if you come, fair enough.
Okay, but
But
your
our
strategic target
is middle and ordinary Liberian.
Very much. Let's come to savings. How do you save on cost? Now, you talk about you don't have a showroom now, and that is one way to save on cost too. So in your own practice, in your company, using your experience, how have you been able to save on costs? Because one thing a lot of business people who are starting new ventures, they be thinking about, I got to pay rent, I got to pay electricity, I got to put AC in my office, they want a big, large office setup. How have you been able to save cost?
If you're about to start a new business, you have a vision. The vision is the expected end, right?
Sure.
But then you have aims and objectives to reach that vision. You cannot want to start up a business and wanting to reach there. I started in my house, on my porch. I get my carpenters, we work together. I'm there because I want you not to make the mistakes you've been making outside. So you know your job, but I feel you don't know it to a certain level because I've seen your work. And I wanted to come out looking not like your work. I wanted to come out looking like P.B.S worked.
Yeah.
So we have to work. So I started from my porch. I was on my porch. I started to do a lot of different contracts. People came for it. I had referral. I moved to a different community, and then not far from my house again, I was able to get someone for a very minimal cost. Looking at my business.
The distance you have to cover to go there.
To go to my business and everything. I can move on to my home. I work there 5-10 minutes a day. Because I need to be there. My presence there makes a lot. So I'm training somebody that can be there when I'm not there to say no. The particular name is supposed to be on this side. I think you need to look at it. So when everybody starts to have that mind, because I have few people who are getting there gradually, who are understanding no. The boss, the concept is for this. So if it flows, it means I don't have to be there. But the first thing is your place. That is why social media plays a high role in my business marketing and referrals. As long your work is good, as long you have quality for what I do, they will come for you.
Let's talk about your biggest motivations so far. What has been your biggest motivation in your career or in your business?
Wow. My biggest motivation is from my mom.
Okay. I think she's proud of you.
I grew up seeing my mom selling in Relay Market. I was in high school. I know many days I follow her to sell. Some days she would say, you're not a good marketing person, And today she sees what I do and she's so proud of me. And she tapped me on the shoulder. But the reason I say it because she still feels that I'm not even there yet. Because she will always tell me, Patience, you have a lot of potential in you. Maximize every little potential. So that when you walk out of this earth, you will be proud of yourself. And that word sinks into me every day. Another factor is my son. There were many times I wanted to quit what I do because of the pressure and a whole lot of things. Being an entrepreneur is not a small game, no matter how small your business is. But when I sit and say, what am I going to leave for my children?
As a legacy.
As a legacy. And I think about some of the books I read and hear about how people have left companies for their children. And I feel there is so much I need to do to make this particular business come alive. So that in the not too distant future, my children, other people can have job opportunity in the company. So these factors keep me going even if I want to stop.
Let's talk about failure. Failure is one thing entrepreneurs, they won't talk about, but it happens, I mean, it happens on a daily basis. What can you say has been your biggest failure and how have you learned from that failure?
My biggest failure has been not living up to the expectation of my consumers. It's frustrating to do a work and then the person doesn't like what you do.
very heartbreaking.
It's heartbroken. And two, one is the issue of doing work and people not liking the quality of the work you produce. And time delivery have been a serious factor. Very serious factor. I'm still working on it. As of now, I'm still working on the issue of time delivery. Because there is a tendency to lose track when you're having a lot of customer coming in.
Yeah.
And because sometimes it gets so dark that you will not even see one customer. When that light open over you, like the kind of business we do, you want to accept as many as you can.
Anything.
Yeah, just be, don't worry 3 weeks. Don't worry 3 weeks. It will happen in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But you know within yourself that you cannot do it in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But because you want the money and want more profit, you go ahead and do it. So that has been a serious issue. Sometimes the only reason that customer still comes back is because of the quality we give them. Right. But I'm learning from that. We started to work on per month, how many work can we do?
Manageably.
Yes. So that we don't go into the extra and let people work, because you can tell somebody, say you get a work in 3 weeks, and then in a month
you can just
you can't
deliver.
even deliver. And you have to be, and it had to lie now. Because if you say, don't worry, you know the machine had an issue, and this, so people can say in Liberia, when it comes to service business, they can frustrate you.
Yeah.
And that is something I pray not to do. Unfortunately, that thing I prayed not to do, and I felt I was going to be this person that would be on time. I came and fell right into it. But I know that, I'm working on it, and in as soon as possible time, it will not be a problem anymore.
Okay, as we get to wrap up, your portion of the interview, let's talk about some personal issue. How do you relax? Entrepreneurship is a 24-hour job. How do you relax?
Wow, it's hard because it gets so stressful. While you're sleeping, I'm working, I'm coming up with new ideas this month. What can I do to make people to come over to me? What can I, So it's very much stressful. But in the midst of everything, I find counsel every morning and before I go to bed. So
what do you do? Do you read? Do you
so
sing?
Early in the morning, I listen to music and I listen to motivational series, especially on businesses.
Okay.
Yeah. So it inspired me to wake up in the morning energetically to start doing what I need to do. So that between 5 to 6 is my mean time. So I wake up at 5 o'clock, I listen to some music, have my motivational sections, do my to-do lists, have my to-do list set up, and then I just lay my hands and just listen to good music. Sometimes over the weekends, I read a lot of books, or I just go somewhere and just relax. After every 3 months, I try to take at least 2 days off. Just go somewhere.
Every 3 months?
Yeah. Every 3 months, take 2 days off.
That's a nice schedule.
Yeah. And take 2 days off, cut my phone off, no internet, no nothing. I just have my me time.
You're on airplane mode.
Yeah, and just be enjoying myself. Yeah.
That's nice. Let's look at the prospects. What does P.B.S service station, have for its many customers? What are the prospects for your customers?
Okay, so for my customers, quality is something you are going to enjoy. We're working on that. So before I go ahead, let me give it up to what I have in store right now.
Yeah.
So for the Christmas season, from October to December, if you purchasing over $2,000, that is, you want to do a painting, you want to change your living room set, you want to change your dining room set, you want to do your kitchen cabinet. If your purchase is over $2,000, right, you want to pay 50% of that money. We do your entire work, do your delivery, and then we give you a payment plan to pay in 3 months. So is that not amazing? That's why we say we are for the middle class and the ordinary people. So to have a small schedule, we are offering this for you. We do an assessment, come up with your pricing, and give you pay 50% and give you 3 months a payment plan for you to be able to make your payment and just have your home, offices, whatever set up for you to enjoy for the Christmas season.
Okay. Yeah. Any, parting statements you'd like to advise entrepreneurs or people who are watching?
Yeah, so for those who want to get involved with business, the motivation, the passion has to come from within. There's no way I can say it. There's no other way I can make you feel about it. But if that passion is feeding from within, there are mornings, nobody needs to wake you up, because Being an entrepreneur is something that you do. It comes from within. If you're waking up in the night, nobody gonna wake you up and say you gotta do this. No. So let your passion feed within. Believe it with everything and go for it. I don't want you to sit and say you have to have all of the I sets, the T cross, the I dotted. Good. No. Have the idea, believe in the idea, and start running with it. Because when you start up, you start to see some different things that you can work around and get around people who have already been in business. They also can lead you in a manner that if you do it on your own, it will take you 2, 3, 4 years before. If you have people around you that guiding you along the way, before you make up your mind, you will be doing what you need to do. Lastly, I want to say P.B.S Service Station is working on their customer service, working on our customer service, working on our time delivery, and we can assure you by next year, all of our products are going to be top-notch quality, and time delivery is going to be 100%. So bear with us. We love you. We want to say thank you for always sticking with P.B.S Service Station. It's because of you we are here. It's because of you we are making progress. We want to say bear with us. It's just a matter of time. We'll get there.
Thank you so much. And she's Patience Beer. She's been talking about her own journey and experience with ideation, business development, and everything entrepreneurship on her own joining, doing a service business here in Liberia. My next guest is the CEO of Makos Fruits Incorporated. They own a chain of what can I say, freshly cut, deliciously made fruit drinks, and a lot. We're going to be talking about ideation, business development, her journey through all that, and what specific inputs she's making on this entrepreneurial journey. I'll be right back right after this break with Mariam Meiplay of Makos Fruits. Stay tuned. Welcome back to CEO's Chat here on KMTV. Every Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m., we're live talking about entrepreneurship, business development, and everything about building that wonderful dream idea that you always have. Today we're talking about business development and ideation using Liberian startups as examples. We've had a service business in our first segment, and now we in our second segment with a product business. Now my next guest is a product seller. She sells wonderful and nicely made homemade smoothies, fruit juices, and everything that will keep your health in proper check. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Makos Fruits Incorporated. They own a chain of stores across the country, and she's going to be sharing her story with us on how exciting it has been and how bumpy sometimes it has also been. So it's my pleasure to welcome Mariam Meiplay. Is that the pronunciation?
Yes, Mariam Meiplay.
Oh, Meiplay.
Yes, Meiplay.
Meiplay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting there small. Yeah, welcome. How has it been?
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It has been really, really great. Yes, so for the startup, for me, the idea came about, I'm an agriculture student.
Okay.
I'm studying agriculture at the Stella Maris Polytechnic.
Okay.
And besides that, when I was growing up, my parents did subsistence farming.
Okay.
So I grew up seeing them doing cross production and other things. So when I came in Monrovia after high school, and also before that, I started school at age 10.
Okay, you were a late bloomer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So at age 10, I started school, and then I had my P.S. Like, you're too big for the class. Look at you. You 10 years and you just started school, and it was so challenging. And so later, I started a little farm in Bon County.
Okay.
Which I started, and then if you are doing business, like you have to know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Have an insider mindset.
So the fact that my parents did subsistence farming, that doesn't mean that I should just jump into going to the soil and do farming, because you have to know what crops are supposed to grow on this farm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I started. And then when I started school, I started with Makos Fruit.
Makos Fruit. So, I know there's a lot that happened between the Bon County, story and then the Monrovia story. But your inspiration, I know you draw it from subsistence farming, but what play in there? What went through there?
Okay. So from the farm thing I told you about, from the subsistence farming that I started, so when I came to Monrovia, I told my parents that I wanted to do like planting and banana.
Mm-hmm.
So when we like few of my friends, they said we like the idea, we want to do something like that. So we put money together, and then I went to my mom. We started the process. Like I told you, you have to know what crops are supposed to go into certain soil. You just don't just go and just plant because you want this to happen. So I just went and started planting. So we planted couple of planting and banana, but to my utmost surprise, everything went down. My friends were so frustrated, even me, I was frustrated. So when I came back in town, I was like, what else can I do? What else can I do? So that's how I went to Red Light Market, and then I bought a couple of fruits and other things. I started packaging fruits in bowl, taking it from one office to another in Monrovia.
That was, a year ago?
That was like 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay, so you started with the whole fruits.
Yes.
You slice it up.
Slice it up, package it, and take it from one office to another.
And how was that process?
The process was tough. The process was tough because at first I started doing Facebook boosting.
Okay.
So how would I do Facebook boosting when I don't even have a delivery guy, and I'm the only person doing the business? So if I have like 2 to 3 persons calling me, oh, I'm across, you have to bring food to me, then another person will call, oh, I'm at here, Junction. How can I get to those people? So the process was very hard, and you see customer will be like, you're not ready for this, you're not even serious, you're not even really, we call you like 4 hours, like sometimes when I get that, they say, we call you like 4 hours, you're just arriving. So the process was really, really hard, and that's how later I got a job at P.B.S Liberia. So when I was at P.B.S, I learned a couple of customer service, and then how to fix smoothie and juices. Later, I was like, but then Makos Fruit can bounce back. But before that, I had one regular customer. He's one of the co-founder of P.B.S.
Okay.
He always used to like encourage me, bring the fruit to my office, I will buy it. Bring it to my office, and always if I carry fruit, then he will surely buy. And then if he have comments, like sometimes I will even do fruits, hair will be in it. He will take the picture, he say, you see this hair in the fruit. You have to be careful, you're taking these things to people. So he was always encouraging. So later when I told him my plans that I want to leave Pinberry and start this Makos fruit, and he was like, that's amazing. I can help we do the process.
That's quite wonderful. Let's come to. I know there's a lot that went between there. You having a job, stable job, and wanting to be an entrepreneur, but no, you couldn't stay at Pinkberry. You want to be an entrepreneur now, being independent. What were your market research results after studying the market? What did you find out that you needed to satisfy?
So I wanted to satisfy like people who wants to eat healthy. That's one thing. And because you notice a lot of people in Liberia normally we just go for sugar. So I wanted to go for people who want to eat healthy. I wanted to provide more healthy food, more healthy snacks for Liberians. And because of that, I thought it wise that if I'm making a natural juices, there will be no added sugar. So that's one of our criteria. We don't add sugar to anything. If you have orange juice, you will just get orange juice. Like you say, I can just go along the road and just buy this and drink it. Yes, and just suck it. That's it. That's the same product you have from us. If you come to Makos fruit, if you eat pineapple outside, you come to Makos fruit and ask for a juice, you have just pineapple juice, no added sugar. So and with that, sometimes we have problem with our customers like watermelon. Watermelon isn't that sweet. So when a customer comes and then they ask for watermelon juice, we give it. They are like, it's not even sweet. What kind of juice here? The juice is not sweet. So we have to be like, it's not sweet. It's good for your health. So you have to like talk to them to try to avoid sugar and all that. It's not easy talking to them, but gradually we are getting there.
We're getting there. So how have this process about idea generation? I know there's a lot when you start a business, too many things come into your mind. Okay, so now I have delivery of whole fruits, I have blended fruits now. Too many ideas can come to your mind. How has that process been able to improve your service and the products that you offer?
So the idea area, at first when the COVID broke out, we were really bad on sales. We were really, really bad. So what could I have done to keep Makos free running? We talked about this quick thing. I talked about this quick thing for Text It. There's an app called Text It. So you have to gather your customers' contacts that you have, and then you just send a message every morning of what you have, like the menu of your products. So we were able to do that, and like right now I have like 109. I'm still trying to build.
Gather your
I'm still trying to
customer data.
So we were able to get that, and then if you send messages to those numbers, there are like maybe 4 or 5 persons able to respond like, yes, I want this, I want that, I want this. And also we were able to get a delivery guy, because sometimes the product I sell is very, 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 very affordable to ordinary Nigerians. Like 500 LD for a cup of juice. So when I normally used to use the other delivery people like LRD, Fast Drive, it was very expensive for me. Like maybe somebody said they are here at the radio, and then a delivery guy comes to the shop, and then they carry order. The delivery guy comes by and charge $3. So $3, and then you carry $500 worth of juice. So it's just made everything worse. You just lose right there. So it was very difficult. So that's how later I said, how can I solve this other problem? We have to manage to get a bike for our own delivery purposes, and then get a delivery guy to join the team. And amazingly, it has been good. Yes.
Okay, so it has helped you to improve your product and the services. People are no longer talking about delay in their products coming to them and wanting to drink it, because you need that instantly when you want it. Let's come to feedback. I know feedback can be very terrible. Sometimes you don't often get the thumbs up or the high fives. How have you been able to get feedbacks? What are your strategies? Because the seat you sit in now is the seat of a lot of people in 2-3 years from now. It's their dream seed. So what can you advise entrepreneurs now that, hey, this is how you gauge feedback. This is how you make use of feedback. What can you say about that?
So for feedback from customer, you have to be a soft talker. You don't have to be high timber, right? Because sometimes it will always happen. There will always be a feedback, no matter what. Like there was a time we normally used to just face the juices, fruit bowl, and other things, and just keep it. And the customer can we just sell out. But the natural juice is very hard to control. You don't keep it for like 4 to 5 hours like that, especially when it's not in an icebox. It will just spoil. So there is this day a customer came and then she bought the taste of the watermelon wasn't really good, and also soursop. The soursop was like foamy, and when soursop foamy, it tastes really bad. So she was like, "What's this? What kind of? This is not nice. I thought you said you're selling natural juices." So we have to apologize to her, and then we work on that. How we work on that? We said I told the workers that let orders be made on that we fix the order when a customer requests for it.
Yeah, instead of just fixing it and storing.
Yeah, even with that, we used to lose because if all those stuff we face is not bought, we have to trash the rest because we can sell it the next day. The next day we already spoiled. So that's how we started working on that. And now, when you put in for an order, we face it immediately, take it to you. And for the smoothie, you always just have to face it immediately. You don't face smoothie and then keep it in the S-bars, it's a customer and then give it to the smoothie. It will just turn very bad, it will look very ugly, and your knee will just spoil. So, yeah.
You're in a very competitive zone. You're competing against both local product providers and foreign product providers. How are you staying afloat in the market? How are you staying there?
So normally for me, the idea was actually to help improve like the eating of healthy food, and then for ordinary Liberians to be able to afford this. Because one thing I know, if you go to different restaurants, the juices that are there, they will tell you natural juices, and then the price attached to it is very expensive. So sometimes you go to other places, you pay $10 for watermelon juice. So if you come to Makos and then you pay $500, that's a reasonable price that ordinary Liberians can afford.
Yeah.
So that has been one. And then also our customer service. I trained these guys. Like I told you, I was working from P.B.S. So what I learned from P.B.S, I was able to transform that skill into my workers. If you go to Makos Fruit,
they're always smiling.
They're always smiling. Excellent customers. We leave you with lasting impression. Lasting impression is when you leave, you say, "Wow, Makos Fruit will come back," like that. So that's it. Because most often in Liberia, people complain about customer service, and I don't want to set that standard. Like everybody just doing the same thing. I want to set different standard where when you come to Makos Fruit, the customer service is so amazing, and then you talk about it there. Every time people go to Royal Grand Hotel where I have my other branch, they will send me a message. Yeah, there's a girl, Christy. She's one of my workers. Christy is very nice. The delivery guy, Emmanuel is so amazing. So those are things. Those are feedback, and every month we like post on the page. Can you please tell us what we've been doing wrong, like to our customers? And
you do that on a monthly basis.
Yes, and then we get feedback. Like, oh, Christy is amazing. Oh, Joey and what's her name? Joey and Catherine at the LV. Oh, Joey and Catherine, they are so sweet. So those things just makes me happy that Makos Fruit is not just competing with people, but we are also setting standard, and also we're not just making juices, but we are making natural juices made just from fruits with no added sugar. Yes, that's
I mean, and that's nice. I personally, I've had the opportunity, of tasting your product. The first time was somewhere close to the area in Congo Town. That was the first time, when you guys were just a booth there, and then later on at the Royal Grand Hotel area. Let's go more into business development. Let's focus on business development. From your own practical experience, when someone is about to start a business, what should they consider? A product business, because you doing a product business. So what should they consider?
So target the market. Also, who are those people that will be getting your product? Number one, and then you have to know what you are about to put into the business. Like we have expenditure, those are things, records, what you buy, all that, those are expenditure, and then you will have like money sales. Like first when I started, those are things I wasn't doing. Like I never have Monday sales, course and daily sale, daily record, and all that. I was just selling. And if you are just selling, you will just blow off. Seriously. You have to have records. You have to make sure you stand for something. You can't just be selling. You can't just be selling. So I control that by having daily sale record and Monday sale record, expenditure, end of the month, and then I have a record of how much I generated. With that, it's so amazing. But also you need to have passion for what you want to do. Like if you don't have passion for it, you will just be doing it because of the money, and then because you're doing it for the love of the money, at the end of the day, it will still crash. You have to have passion. That's why my colleague was saying, she said, you wake up at night, there are nights I don't sleep. I wake up, I have to daily sale, two locations, I have to put down daily sale, I have to do this, I have to work, I have to work. It's not going to be easy. Nobody should tell you it will be easy. It's going to be really tough. To have the CEO name, it's so amazing, it's so great. When you say CEO, you're like, but after that, there's a hard work. You have to put hard work in it, and then you have to make sure your business is on top of the game.
Okay. So let's come to sales. You talk about engaging in daily sales, and we know, like I mentioned earlier, you in a very tightly competitive sector. Not just only Makos Fruit is offering freshly cut juices. How do you push sales? How do you ensure that your sales team is always ahead of their game and getting more sales so that you can generate profit? What do you do?
So most often, like the Facebook, the Instagram, the page we use those platforms. It really been helpful. We boost our page, and then you see customers give you feedback and all the things, they want this, they want that. And also, I go on YouTube and learn different things. Of late, I just learned about fruit cake. So I offer fruit cake now. Besides the juices, like you're saying, we have a lot of people now doing those things, which is amazing. I love it that a lot of people now selling fruits and all that things. Will have more librarians eating them. So what else can I do? Like we are selling fruits now. We are cutting fruits, packaging it in bowl, and then giving it to our people. So what else can I add to my business? So I came up with the idea I can make a fruit cake. A fruit cake that you can give to your loved one, or fruit cake you care for a wedding, or fruit cake that you give to somebody on their birthday. So it's just been so amazing, and that I train the guys again. That it's a teamwork. Whatever I learn, I make sure I train these guys. Like one time I will be sick, I won't be, because sometimes the customer say, I want for Mariam to fix my fruit cake. No,
you're not always
available. So I have to train these guys, and they've been doing an amazing job. And she knows how to do it. The guy, he knows how to fix it. Like the fruit cake is just booming, and then the watermelon basket. We made a beautiful watermelon basket just for watermelon. We carve it so nicely and put different kinds of fruits on it for the same occasion, birthdays, holidays, and other things. Yeah.
So that's a whole lot of creativity.
Yes.
So you innovate so that you can push sales.
Yes.
Let's come to I know transitioning from the Congo Town location to Royal Grand was a huge step forward in your career. So how did you envisage that kind of market? Because getting a Royal Grand is a whole new market. Now you get to attract CEO there, managers now, and people at the upper echelon of society. So how did you start to think about different markets?
So it has been part of the line that I want to, Makos Fruit shouldn't just be the Congo Town. Makos Fruit should be like 2 to 3, 4, 5 areas. Like I want to attract people to know that eating healthy is the best. Because you can just go to one thing. Last time I had a customer, she said she went to the hospital, and then she came out and said, maybe they said she can't drink juice. So imagine. So I'm like, you have to drink juice every time. Not because you went to the hospital. So if we have Makos Fruit everywhere, everywhere, maybe across, yeah, there be a junction and other, we will have more Liberians eating healthy, and it will help, it will really help. And for Royal Grain is a very nice spot. Yeah, being there is just so great, yes. And I have like different customers. Now when I say different customers at Royal Grain, we will see somebody from Togo, we will see somebody from Europe, we will see somebody from America. And then they are so interested in Makos fruit. They're like, oh, let's try this. So the customers have changed, not just to the ordinary Liberians, but also have mixed people coming out.
So if you were to advise someone who's watching, want to start a business and wanting, because you expanded in just 2-3 years, and others will wait for after 5-6 years. You expanded
Actually, in 1 year.
In 1 year, you expanded. So
I started last year, August 1st.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the trend? How can someone expand so fast? What did you do differently? That's the essence of the show, to teach people the secrets.
So the secret is, when you are doing something, make sure you do it with passion. That's what I said earlier. And people are watching. Yes, people are watching. If you are doing something, make sure you do it the best way possible. People are watching. Once people are watching, there are people who will show interest. So expanding like into locations, especially at the Royal Grain Hotel, people have been watching. So they were like, how can we help? What can we do to help? So I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to take this business from here to here. I want to take this business from Monrovia to Kakata. So yes, so somebody was like, that's very nice. Then we can do this together. And then that was it. Boom. We are now at Royal Grand Hotel, and we love it there. It's so amazing there. So you have to have passion, and then make sure you should love what you're doing. Yes, just make sure you should, and then make sure you gain trust, because you will have investors coming your way, and then when those people come, make sure whatever you will discuss, that should be it. You shouldn't let them down. If you let it down, you let the whole business down, and you let your dream down. It should be your dream. So if you're taking it to somebody, make sure you guarantee that person that it will be possible. So that's how you
possibility.
Yes.
If in fact, if you cannot see the end game of your business, then don't dare dream about it. You're watching CEO's Chat here on KMTV. This comes your way every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on KMTV, the Creative Minds television. We're in conversation with Mariam Meiplay. She's the CEO of Makos Fruits. They run a chain of fruit product business where they sell deliciously homemade smoothies and other fruit drinks here in Monrovia. Earlier, we had Patience Beer of Patience Beer Service Station talking about the various services they offer. Let's come back to you, Mariam. Cost is one thing that people who want to start business, they look at. What advice would you give if someone wants to start a business or product business as you're doing? When it comes to cost, what would you advise?
So, nobody, people, I just want to say, you don't have to have like 2,000, 3,000 in your bank account before you start. This is how I started, by cutting fruits, growing real light, getting like 2-3 watermelon, 4-5 pineapple, for 500, oranges, avocado, and just come in my house and just buy a bowl for maybe 12 or $5 or $8.50 LD, and then just cut them and package it and carry to various offices. So that's how I started. I never started with 10,000 being in my account. No. Like,
start small.
You have to start small. That's just it. Don't be like, I need more money to start a business. No. Sometimes you don't even start with anything. Just the mindset that you want to do this, it helps you. So it's not about having more money to start a business. You can start on a little. I started on a little amount when I got a P.B.S. Before my little salary I had, and then I sent for products. Like I sent for goods in China, like ice bars, the blender, those things. So you don't have to wait to get a large amount of money before you start a business. They start with you. You dream within and you pull it out.
That's a powerful quote. Now, again, stay on cost. We know that if you want to stay in business, you got to make profit. And in making profit, you got to cut the unnecessary spending. So, what are your cost savings mechanisms that you use? Well,
So basically, we go for cheaper things. Like if I go right now to real life market, I have farmers that I'm already into the agriculture field. So I make sure I have farmers that I'm dealing with, and also with that chain, I'm also helping those farmers. So these farmers bring the goods and then
freshly from the farm.
And then we talk on price that they give it to me for lower amounts because they know that I'm not selling it very expensive. They have to give it to me for amounts that when I go out and sell to the ordinary Liberians in general, that everybody can be happy. I can buy from them and then I come and say I'm not happy. Business is about making profit, but even though the profit is not much, but yes, it's about making profit. So that's how I've been working with farmers, getting to them daily, bringing goods to me, and then charging honor. Like it makes them happy to do that because I'm helping in the agriculture sector too.
Sure.
By buying from those farmers. Over the last like few months, we were able to buy like 1,000 kg tons of fruit from farmers, and that's so much. Imagine if we buy more than that in a year.
And you infusing you infusing that in the local economy is also helping our ordinary farmers. They're able to turn the money around.
Yes, that's how I have been. So that's it.
Let's come to visibility. So a part of marketing is about visibility. And if someone wants to expand, they need to be visible, because when you're visible, it makes it easier to expand. What strategy has Makos Fruit been using to make it so easy? All around you, past we were talking about, if you want fresh fruits, you got to go to Makos. How have you been able to use visibility?
It's just creativity. Creativity is one. If you look at our kiosks, the kiosk you saw at Komota, it's very bright, yellow container, right?
Yeah.
And then when you see that container, oh, it's so beautiful. People were like, the first week we opened to Komota, people were attracted to that container.
Yeah.
And people came around taking pictures. People just came. Some people just came like take a cup of juice and just take pictures. And then that's how they started making publicity for me. And then I use Facebook as well. So the decoration too is very important. You're not just going to just carry anything and then people just come for it. If most often when people used to come at the Congotown location, the first thing they would say, it's like American person get his place in. Like it's just extra. It's different. So I'm saying, no, it's not American. Like one Liberian lady get it. So they're like, but it's so beautiful. But that's it. You have to be creative. Everybody can keep doing the same thing. So that's what's stemming out. You go to Royal, you will see the setting is different. You see we put some stuff down, we put flower everywhere and all that. So that's just it. You have to be creative. Yes.
And people are attracted by what they see, and that's why they buy enough of the things that are advertised that much. So let's go to a more personal issue now as we about to wrap up. Let's go to a more personal issue. You've been a student, a CEO, a family woman, and all that. What has been your biggest motivation to push this dream of having Makos Fruit being the #1 fruit company in Liberia?
So, like I mentioned earlier, growing up, I saw my parents farming, but they were just involved into subsistence farming. So, them have been my greatest motivation. The fact that I saw my mom and dad into farming, and then just into subsistence farming, I was like, what change can I use to improve this? So with that, and then coming up, starting school at age 10.
That's a big barrier.
It wasn't easy starting school at age 10, and then being good at and telling me a lot of things. You just see I'm wasting your time and all that. My principal have to talk to me, like getting into the city. If I can't really speak English, speaking Pele all alone, and then in class speaking Pele, it was just too much. My principal always have to encourage, always. It's like, you can do this, you can make it. And then I was I went to the Accelerated Learning Program. That program is when you overage. It's called the Accelerated Learning Program, ALP. When you overage, they have to put you to that place
Program,
to
yeah.
to that program. So I attended that program, and now sitting here owning my own business and
Controlling your own time.
yes, controlling my own time and working to a business place, and people are like, oh yes, that's our boss lady. It makes me so proud. God has been so faithful. Yes. And then my son, when I wake up, I see my son. He's like, "You going again?" He doesn't talk, but when I'm like,
From
I'm
your
leaving,
actions,
yes,
yeah.
he look at me like, then I'm like, boy, we just have to do this. So those things motivate me to become, to come this far.
I mean, so inspiring, so inspiring. Like I asked your predecessor here about failure. It's one distasteful word that every entrepreneur, doesn't like to talk about. But we have to include it in the conversation. So let's talk about failure. What has been your biggest failure, and what have you learned from it?
So my biggest ever failure has been um, giving out like at first when we started giving out food to people that wasn't like prepared the right time, like maybe we face it for 4 hours and then it left over, giving it back because we don't want it to spoil. And then when it has been so terrible, but with that we were able to work on it, that we're not going to give stiff juice to anybody, stiff smoothies or fruit bowl, whatever is left we will trash it, and with that we have come a long way.
That's very good. So, as we wrap up now, what would be your advice to entrepreneurs who want to start a product business, venture into that? What would you love to tell them?
I would tell them with God, all things is possible. If you can dream it, you can do it. Just keep your eyes to the goal. Make sure this is what you want to do, and then make sure don't think about what people will say. Just focus, and you can get there.
And also talk about what do we expect macro fruits to have for us in the coming months.
Oh yeah, so December is almost here. I'm so excited. We have our fruit basket, we have our fruit cake, we have our natural juices, and we have our smoothies. The juices are just 500, smoothies 600, just affordable. Fruit bowl is 400. So you can just come to Royal Grand Hotel. We have 2 locations now, Royal Grand Hotel and the Springfield. So you will see a bright yellow container right to the Springfield Junction, and then Royal Grand Hotel right after the pizza bar. You will see Makos fruit. I hope to see you this December. It will be so amazing. Thank you.
I'm pulling through tomorrow, and so this is how we bring an end to CEO's Chat today. We have very nice conversation on business development and ideation using Liberian companies, startup companies as a case study. I've had P.B.S Mariam Meiplay of Macro Fruits talking about all of these wonderful journey and life experiences. Catch me next Thursday, same time, 6 to 7 p.m. with a different topic. Hope to talk about personal branding for mediapreneurs. Watch out for that. See my next guest for next week is going to be incredible and fascinating. Keep watching KMTV. Don't you dare change it now. Bye-bye.